Hello and welcome. My name is Dave. I'm the computing teacher at Barder Academy with a responsibility across the school for online safety. The purpose of this channel is to provide a starting point of reference for parents who wish to find out more about online safety and to provide a space where we can start conversations and support each other as parents and professionals working with neurodiverse children. Together, we'll explore some practical ways to help your child stay safe, confident, and connected online. As always, if you do wish to comment on this video, please do so in a polite and supportive way, building the kind of online communities that we would wish for our children to be part of. And also, please respect the privacy of others by avoiding using any names. So, the purpose of today's video is for us to just stop and think for a moment about the kind of online world that our young people are active in. People of a certain age, like myself, remember a time when there was no internet, there was no mobile phones, online apps, social media, all the kind of stuff that our children have just known for their entire lives. And because of that, we're far more likely to be sceptical and a little bit cautious about what we do online, which is a caution and a scepticism that the young people just don't have, having grown up with this technology around them. And what we'll find, of course, is that our children are using so many online spaces, it's virtually impossible for any parent to keep track of what it is that they're doing, which makes it all the more important that we build the digital resilience into their everyday experience to try to avoid some of the pitfalls and problems that they will find as they interact online. So the purpose of this video, this very first video of the channel, is really, I think, the most important starting point for us. Thinking about how we can create a safe space where our young children, our young people feel empowered and safe to come and talk to us, either as parents or as professionals, around issues that they may be having online. Because, of course, if they don't feel confident in coming to talk to us, then often we are in the dark about things that may have gone wrong and not in a position to help them. So I think this is a really important starting point for us to consider in how we help these young people. If you feel like you wish to comment or challenge or question anything that I've said in the video, that's perfectly okay. I'm more than happy to engage in conversations. What I would, however, request is that those comments are kept on topic for this video. They are kept respectful and they are anonymous. So please avoid using anybody's names or personally identifiable information. And any comments that don't keep to those house rules will be removed. So let's jump into it and see if we can come up with some ideas as to how we can create that safe space for our young people to come and talk to us. So the first rule, really, which you see quite often in the online safety world, is this phrase: be curious, not furious. So a child comes to us and says something has gone wrong online. Our first response emotionally may be to say, well, why on earth have you done that? Well, that wasn't very clever of you, was it? That's absolutely not the way to start that conversation from my point of view. I think it's really important that we use supportive language scripts, the kind of things that we use an awful lot at Barder in all sorts of different scenarios, where children make disclosures or try and share information with us that they find quite difficult to do so. So things like, well, thank you for telling me. Let's try and figure this out together is a really positive starting point in that conversation. It opens the door to make the child feel as though they've done the right thing in coming to speak to you, and that you are here to help and to work through it with them, not just to tell them what they've done wrong, but we're going to work this out together. So thank you for telling me. I really appreciate how brave it is that you've come to tell me this piece of information. Now let's see what we can do together to try and put it right. So being curious, not furious. So we're trying to encourage the child to open up to us with our use of language. And whilst we're on the topic of language, it's really important that our choice of language is clear and it's direct, and there's no room for misjudgment. So a lot of neurodiverse young people will struggle with sarcasm, abstract phrases. They will struggle to read body language and facial expressions, all those non-verbal cues. So we need to be very, very clear in our language and not overload with information. So we could always start off a conversation with something like, if something online makes you feel worried, then tell me. I won't be cross. We will sort it out together. So simple, clear and supportive, direct language removes all elements of doubt and confusion in that child's mind, hopefully, when they're coming to tell you about something that may have gone wrong. It's also good as well, again, children with neurodiversity, of course, really value routine and predictability. So where possible, try and build conversations around their online lives into a daily routine. It doesn't have to be a formal sit down and let's have 10 minutes talking about something. It could just be that every day when you sit down for tea time, you say, oh, what have you done online today? Or is there anything you'd like to tell me about what's happened today? And create a routine, a predictable structure where the young person knows that check-in is going to be happening. So regular routines, rather than the young people feeling ambushed when we want to try and get some information from them. Again, this is fairly standard parenting technique for those of us with neurodivergent children, but we need to try and remove the threat of a face-to-face conversation. And one of the best ways of doing that is to approach a conversation side by side, which is far less escalatory than it is to be making eye contact and looking directly at the young person. So making that direct eye contact can create much more intense feelings and be quite overwhelming for the young people. So sometimes just having an informal conversation side by side, the ideal place for that really is in a car. You've got no choice but to be sat side by side. It's far less intimidating for the young person if that conversation is happening shoulder to shoulder rather than eye to eye. Or go out for a walk somewhere, walk along side by side, and that can often be a route into a conversation. Or a favourite hobby, like sit down and play a bit of Lego, and the focus of that activity is working on the Lego, and a conversation might just happen during that activity. And the other thing that we need to do, I think, is even if these online spaces are wholly unappealing to us as adults, we need to pretend that we're interested in what they're doing. If we show the interest and get them to talk about what it is that they're doing and feign a bit of ignorance along the lines of, oh, I really don't understand how that app works. Do you think you could explain it to me? Because I think I might want to use it, but I don't really know anything about it. And get them to be the expert that tells you what it is they're using and how they're using it. And you can then get to see, number one, the range of apps and spaces that they are using online, and number two, it'll help expose their understanding of what safe interaction actually is. If they think they're the expert and they're telling you, they're far less likely to clam up and not want to share with you. So get them to teach you about a particular game or app that you have concerns about that they may be using, and get them to explain that world to you, and that's far less confrontational really for them than it is if we initiate that conversation. Then when things go wrong, which they probably will at some point for most people, it's really important that these young people understand that there is a no blame, no ban rule. So our first reaction as parents is quite likely to be, if something's gone wrong online, why have you done that? That was really silly of you. I don't want that to happen again. I'm going to take your phone off you. Which I totally understand as a parental response. It's things that I think most of us would have to admit to having done at some point with our children. But if we want our children to feel safe and empowered to come and talk to us and to approach us with the problems that they're experiencing, that fear of punishment really doesn't want to be there. If a child thinks that if I go and say something has gone wrong, I'm going to get shouted at, I'm going to get grounded, my phone is going to be taken off me, they are far less likely to want to come and make that disclosure. So I think it's really important that the young people know and understand that your first response is not going to be blame or ban or punish, but to be supportive. That they need to know that that support will be forthcoming. And it may well be that further down the line in that conversation that there needs to be some discussion about a sanction or a ban or taking devices away or whatever it may be, and that's entirely obviously your parental right to do so. But I think in that first instance, if they feel that there's going to be a blame and a ban immediately as a first response, then the likelihood of them wanting to disclose things to you becomes far, far lower. So it's really important that not only do we have that principle that we're not going to resort to blame as our first reaction, but that the children understand that that's going to be our reaction. So we need the children to believe that they can come and speak to us, either parents or professionals, without fear of retribution or ban or punishment as a first response. Like I say, further down the line, if you think that that's an appropriate reaction, then that's entirely your right to do that. But the priority in the first instance is making sure that the children feel as though they can come to you and to make a disclosure and to explain things that have gone wrong so they can get the support that they need. Also, when it comes to talking with particularly younger neurodivergent children, sometimes the communication barriers are too great to overcome for them to be able to explain what may have gone wrong online. So again, parents with neurodiverse children, you're probably very, very familiar with this kind of advice anyway, but using visual cues, emotion charts, social stories, all that kind of thing, traffic light emojis, to help them communicate their fears and their worries without necessarily having to use the words, which can be a huge obstacle for a lot of them, obviously. And also, I think it's important, especially as they get older as well, that we are open to the fact that we are all human, and parents, adults, grown-ups, we will make mistakes as well online. We will get ourselves into bother. We may fall for scam emails. We may respond in an inappropriate way to a message that we've received from somebody and get ourselves involved in some online spat and being a keyboard warrior and all this kind of thing. And I think it's really valuable, actually, as adults and also as professionals, for us to recognise and to share with the young people that actually we all make mistakes online. We all get drawn into things like that. It's the nature of the technology and how it interacts with our hardwiring in our brains. And trying to show the children that actually we're all human, we all make mistakes, but the important thing is that we learn from it and we move forward from it. And it may well be that you could take it as an opportunity for your young person to come and mentor you a little bit. So you've made a mistake in a scam, or you've replied to a message in an inappropriate way, and maybe they could have some input into educating you and make them feel empowered. And again, that reinforces this idea that we are working together, and it builds that safe relationship where the communication can happen in both directions. We can also offer choices when it comes to a young person wanting to make a disclosure to us. So it may well be that a child, a teenager in particular, is very reluctant to come and actually talk face to face. The embarrassment, the humiliation, the fear, all huge emotions that will get in the way of a child feeling able to come and speak to us. So we can hopefully overcome some of those barriers by giving the young people different ways that they can communicate with us. So you could say, would you prefer to write it down? Would you prefer to send it to me in a text message? Or obviously come talk to me. But offer those different pathways that the young people can use. And you'll know your children well enough to know which of those is likely to work or which of those is completely not going to work, and that's absolutely fine. But use that option, give them that option of communicating with you in a way that makes them more comfortable. This is all about removing those barriers and encouraging them to disclose when things have gone wrong online. And really, this is the most important thing, isn't it? Is continuously reinforcing the idea that they can come to you. So one calm talk isn't enough for that reassurance that they've done nothing wrong. They've done the right thing in coming to speak to you. We are going to work through this together. That's not a one-off conversation, because often what we may look at as a fairly trivial issue for a young child, a teenager, especially a neurodivergent young person, they may well feel as though that is the end of their world, that this issue is enormous, and it's going to take a lot of reassurance to try and convince them that actually it is okay. And we need to constantly reinforce the idea that you can come and talk to me, we can work it out together, and you can learn from this. So if that situation arises again, you're not going to find yourself in the same position. And that's not a one-off conversation, is it? That's going to take several goes, really. So that's really as much as I wanted to cover today. I think that's quite a lot of food for thought, really. From my point of view, creating those safe spaces for children to feel empowered to come and talk to us is probably the most important aspect of helping children through an online safety crisis that they may be having. If they don't feel that confidence to come and disclose what's gone wrong, then they are far less likely to involve us in that conversation, and therefore we are far less likely to be able to effectively help them. So if you would like to continue this conversation further, the comment section is available below. Please just remember, let's be polite, let's be respectful, and let's not break any confidences or invade anybody's privacy. And let's stay on topic with those discussions. And I'm going to finish with the thought that I think is at the heart of the online safety work that I do in school, which is that every child deserves to feel safe, respected, and empowered online. And if today's tips has helped to start one good conversation at home, then it's been worth it. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you all for listening.